Alrighty, good evening, Arkansas. This is Assistant Chief Forecaster Cam back here once again. I'm here to give you guys a video blog on what to expect for not only tomorrow, but also the upcoming, well, actually next weekend here. So, lots on the table. That's the number one thing I'm going to tell you guys right now. So, what I'm going to show you is forecast guidance. Now, I want to heavily stress because I know I made a post earlier about how next weekend could potentially look, and I want to heavily stress we're still about 7 days away. So you guys know with computer model guidance, it will change a million times before we get here, but it's definitely eye-catching, and it's definitely a forecast challenge, especially for me and Derek that's got to do it over the weekend here. So first and foremost, let's talk about tomorrow here. So tomorrow, we have the slight risk that's in fact from much of central, eastern, down to southwestern Arkansas, down to Arklatex region, and then you have your marginal risk here. Now, for tomorrow, you're going to have a new cold front that's going to push down from the Midwest, and you're going to have a boundary. Remember that front that came through late Friday into this, late last night, into this morning? That front of boundary is kind of stalled out across southern Arkansas right now, and that's going to move back to the north as a warm front throughout the day tomorrow, and that warm front is going to meet with your cold front. So that's why you have the potential not only damaging winds, hail, but there's also the potential for a tornado or two here. Now, we're not expecting a big outbreak or anything like that. I don't expect this thing to go to an enhanced unless timing completely speeds up and we deal with this in the evening. However, we will have to watch out for those discrete cells, especially in the evening and into the to the mid to late evening, and then the line that comes through during the overnight hours here. So be sure to stay with us. Follow our page, not only on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Be sure to stay with us, especially for tomorrow. We'll have all the updates you need to know, and we are fully prepared to stay up all night to keep you guys informed on that severe weather threat. But with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about that real quickly here. So this is the day 2. You guys saw it earlier today. I do want to apologize for any kind of confusion on the page. We were kind of rushed. It came out, and I was in the middle of working on our new website, and I was trying to get it out, and I was like, oh man, I got to get this out. So I made the graphic, and then I said, hey, check out the comments. It should be right there, and then boom, I got it out. So it was kind of rushed. I do apologize if there was any confusion and all that, but that should easily be settled with because we got timing maps and stuff out on the page now. But let's talk about it. So there's your tornado threat for tomorrow here across much of Arkansas. You have your yellow area. That's the 5%. That's kind of it's not a high threat, but it's not a very low threat either. So that's one area that I'm going to be monitoring tomorrow for the potential of a tornado or two, especially from Texarkana up 30 to Arkadelphia to Little Rock over towards Memphis and up to the Ohio Valley. And then the green area, the 2%, that's the very low area. However, you can't let your guard down 2% either. Especially from Fayetteville down towards near the Lake Village area down there in southeastern Arkansas. So just kind of keep that in mind for tomorrow here. Remember, have your alerts. Keep your phone on. You guys know if there's any tornado warnings, we'll be live on Facebook, YouTube, Amazon Fire TV, and your Roku channels as well here. Now, your hail threat for tomorrow here. Really, I'm kind of questioning your health threat. I think the health threat is going to be mainly during the late afternoon and evening hours with those discrete cells. I'm going to show you guys with the HRRR here in just a little bit here. But I think the health threat will be mainly early on, and then along the line, it's mainly going to be a damaging wind / what we call QLCS, or those weak, brief spin-up tornadoes along the line tomorrow night here. But this is your damaging wind threat as well here. So your slight risk is tornado and damaging wind driven. And basically what we mean by tornado wind driven is that what gave it the slight risk, the slight risk area. So like if you have a 5% TOR and a 15% wind, that would qualify for a category of slight risk. If you have a 5% TOR by itself and everything else was 2%, then you would have what we call a 5% tornado slight risk, or a tornado-driven slight risk. So that's what we mean by whenever you hear one of our meteorologists or whatever saying there's a tornado-driven slight risk or a wind-driven slight risk or anything like that. So that's what we got going at this point. Now, what we are going to do is we're going to switch over to the computer model guidance here. So bear with me for just a bit. I'm going to switch this over. And this is the HRRR. Now, I'm going to go through the HRRR. I'm going to go over timing, go over everything you guys need to know. And we're going to talk about next weekend. Because next weekend, right now, if you're a forecaster, it makes your hairline go about 3 inches back about the forecast for next weekend. So right now, let's talk about the HRR. Let's see here for today. One of those cloudy, dreary days. It was really humid outside too. I don't know if I'm the only one that noticed that. But it was pretty humid across the natural state for today here. But we didn't have a lot of sunshine across the board here. So we're going to go back to the 18Z real quickly. Not the 20Z. Let's go back to the 18Z at this point here. So there's the 18Z run. Let me see if I can get my mouse to actually work with me today. There we go. So let's talk about it real quickly here, guys. So with that being said, let's go ahead and show you guys what we mean about tomorrow here. So right around we get towards 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon here. Now, this is not going to catch a lot of people's attention. It kind of looks like, isolated showers or whatever here. But my issue is this is along the boundary that's going to be moving northwest tomorrow. So we will have to watch these storms, especially early on. This is right around 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. These should quickly move out of the area here. But what happens is, by the time we get towards the afternoon hours, some of these cells start becoming thunderstorms over here in the Delta region. Now, your boundary is going to be here tomorrow. So what we'll have to watch during the afternoon into the evening hours tomorrow is, can some storms overcome the cap that's going to be in place and start developing? Because the environment that's going to be in place tomorrow will be conducive for the potential of seeing severe weather. So we will watch these cells closely, especially over here in eastern Arkansas. This is right around at 2, 3 o'clock time frame here. So we'll watch those cells closely here. I know the HR is kind of picking on those cells developing out here in eastern Arkansas, and they quickly go away. Now, our main event is going to be right around 11 o'clock tomorrow night here. So this is 10 o'clock tomorrow night. There's your line of storms beginning to develop along your cold front that's going to be moving south-southeast. So you mainly will have to watch out for the damaging wind potential, but also the QLCS, what we call the embedded weak tornadoes, tomorrow night and the early part of your Monday morning here. So what happens is, if you go HRR, your line comes through Arkansas right around 1 o'clock in the morning. Now, it's kind of worst time possible during the overnight hours here. And then what happens is it drifts southeast throughout the overnight hours. Now, a couple of things. One, with it being during the overnight hours, it does help with the instability. You're talking 500 to up some cases near 1,000 instability down here in southwestern Arkansas. However, my concern is this, and this 0 to 1 kilometer helicity, or the amount of spin you have in the atmosphere, and you're talking 200, 300, even in some cases near 400. That's where you have to start watching for that isolated tornado potential here. So tomorrow night would be a good time to go over your severe weather plans, have a way to go. If there's a tornado warning, keep your phone on and keep it charged tomorrow night across Arkansas. I got that feeling that we're going to be live a bunch tomorrow night here. But that quickly pushes through Arkansas as we get towards tomorrow night, the early part of your Monday morning here. And then it should be out of Arkansas by the time we get towards 8, 9 o'clock in the morning here. But definitely a wind maker, and could bring the potential of some embedded, isolated, weak tornadoes tomorrow night and early part of your Monday morning here. I'm not really concerned about the overall outbreak potential, but I do think this can produce some severe weather as we get towards tomorrow night and in the early part of your Monday morning here. Now, let's talk about next weekend here, okay? I've had you guys on for about 8 minutes now, so let's talk about next weekend. So we're going to start with the GFS, and then I'm going to go over to Euro real quickly here. So this is what the GFS has. Now, what's going to happen after tomorrow night in the Monday's event, fundamentally swings through, you cool down, it's going to be a rude awakening on Monday. You're going to go from what's in the 70s now, 60s and 70s now, to the 40s and 50s for highs on Monday here. So winter's going to hit us in the face on Monday. But what's going to happen throughout the next week that's coming up is temperature's going to moderate pretty quickly here. So we're going to go from the 40s, 50s for much today on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, up into the 60s and even some 70s could be possible by the time we get towards the end of next week here. Now, what ends up happening is late Friday, okay, we start seeing that upper level low develop. We start seeing that surface low develop out towards our west. Moisture's really going to be streaming in as we get towards Friday night into the Saturday. As you can tell, my days are off by this point here. But this is what happens if you go with the GFS here. So GFS swings this front through really, really quick Friday night and early Saturday morning here. So one, that cancels out your severe threat, okay? So what happens is this front makes it through Arkansas late Friday and early Saturday morning, and then it stalls out, okay? Yes, I know, and you're looking at this and you're like, oh man, this has got winter storm set up all over it for Arkansas. Okay, if you go GFS, front stalls out south of Arkansas, South Arkansas and Central Arkansas, cold rain. North Arkansas, you're in the low 30s with snow. Okay, so that's something that we're going to be monitoring very, very closely here as we get towards late next week and into next weekend here. And then what happens is your surface low gets out of the way, your upper low, your 500 millibar low comes through, and it changes everybody over from rain to snow, and then that's it, and it's out of here by the time we get towards Sunday morning here. And then daytime highs next Sunday, if you go GFS, let's go ahead and take it out real quickly. I'm pretty sure we're in the 30s and 40s across the night, just saying some low 50s, but we'll have to wait and see on all that. But that's GFS at this point. Euro, more the same here. So let's take the Euro out real quickly here. And also, we will have to watch Southern Missouri and Northern Arkansas early on Wednesday morning. Not expecting a whole bunch with that, but this should quickly get out of the way. What happens on Thursday, similar to what the GFS does. However, this is different from where the GFS is going with this. Okay, so what happens is there's your 999 millibar low. So both have a strong system. That's a check mark. All right, both have the system next week. But the Euro does something completely different from GFS. Remember GFS on this front through here throughout Friday night and early Saturday morning, then it stalls out. Euro says no to that idea, keeps the front in northwestern Arkansas, gives a severe threat to much of southern and southeastern Arkansas that Saturday, and then what happens is your front swings through, your upper level low follows behind it, and you go over from severe weather on Saturday to snow across much of northern and portions of central Arkansas. Southern Arkansas right now, we're not spreading anything down there, but that's what happens here. So you can definitely see where we're getting at in terms of trying to forecast this for next weekend. So what does that mean for your 7-day forecast coming up tonight? Because we have to add next Saturday to your forecast. Right now, I do not feel confident adding winter weather to the forecast. I don't feel confident at all. I think right now we have to wait and see what happens because, as you can see, this is what GFS and Euro does. Euro has a severe threat next Saturday. GFS has winter weather. So you got to have to go with a blend of both at this point. So you probably won't see winter weather with this forecast tonight or whatever, or even this weekend, but we'll have to watch it over the next couple of days here, and we'll keep you guys informed. But right now, I kind of want to rest some minds because I know a lot of people are probably going to see this map and it's going to take off. I mean, it's going to be like, oh, we got a winter storm coming for Arkansas next weekend or anything like that. I don't want anyone thinking that it's going to be a winter storm. We have, 7-8 days to watch this before it happens. Okay, and you can definitely see the timing differences. That can mean a big difference in trying to forecast this for next week. You go GFS, no severe threat. You go from cold rain to snow. You go Euro, severe threat. You go from severe to snow across Arkansas. So we'll watch it closely, guys. I think so far it's still 7 to 8 days out. Plenty time to watch it here. But my concern is that you've got good amount of agreement on winter weather within a 7-day period. That's my concern at this point. We'll watch it closely. We keep you guys updated right here. Your source for all things Arkansas weather.